Hey there, producers. Hope you're doing well. And we're on to episode 3 this week, and we're looking at a quite simple plugin from Xfer Records called Dimension Expander. I'm sure majority of you watching have used it or know about it, but the reason I'm bringing it into my series today is because I think it's a extremely underrated plugin. It's probably one of the simplest looking ones, but as you've seen in my videos and how I talk about, some of the simple ones are better. So we're going to look at today how I use it in a track. I really recommend working with automating this plugin or bypassing it from one section to the next so it turns on maybe on a drop or a certain chorus part of your record. There's many different things you can do with this, guys, so I kind of want to show how I make it stand out. There is another trick that I like to add when working with a dimension expander that I don't think enough people are considering. Let's take a look to the screen, guys. Per definition, let's just talk about the plugin. Let me just pull that up right here. So it is in a stereo width plugin. You guys can see over here, spatial expander is how Xfer defines this plugin. It's modeled on chorus effects from the late 80s. What it basically does, guys, right here, it splits the incoming signal into 4 parts. But the main thing and why it makes it sound wider and stereo with Tool in general, it flips the phase of 2 of them. That's what gives a kind of stereo delay type effect. And that's why this plugin is really, really good. It then delays them coming to the mixing console, which then creates that width or that perception at least. And what I like doing, guys, is many different things with this, but one specifically that I'm going to show here today is on the drop. I like having the dimension expander turn on. On the breaks and maybe a verse section in the vocals, I'll have it off. So let's just play the record here today and you guys can hear what we're working on.
Story was told, love was lost in the fold, and it crashed and it burned. I turned to you. Don't walk away from love. Wait on, stand on, wait on, stand from love. Wait on, stand on, wait on, stand
All right, extremely record, a catchy record that I'm co-producing. What I like doing, guys, as you saw here, the buildup of these vocal chops, it is bypassed. The drop, it is coming on right here. You can see it's coming on. But before we just talk about what it's doing, I want you guys to also consider widening what this stereo width tool is already doing. So sometimes I will pair it with a wide stereo width tool. You guys can use whatever you want. This is from Polyverse. You know, don't go too far, but sometimes go to an extreme to understand when you've gone too far, as I talk a lot about in my videos. You'll notice the difference of where this is sitting on the drop. I get asked a lot from artists I work with or clients and whoever it is that inquiring about my music. They ask why sometimes the vocals on the drop or maybe the main sections feel wider or bigger, or what reverb settings am I doing. It doesn't always come down to the reverb that I'm working with. It might be this one trick I'm showing today is just working with Dimension Expander, the simplest plugin in the world. Makes a huge difference on my drop. So if we hear those vocal scats without it, again, big difference there. So you guys can hear that that's the tiny effect, and that's why this is in episode 3 early on in the series, is because anyone that's not using this plugin or maybe not using it to its fullest potential, I hope today opens up the possibilities for you to kind of mess with it. But it is a free plugin too. Both of these are free. I believe Wider is also, but I just use that widener tool to be underneath the dimension expander on the channel strip to push what I'm doing here with this spatial element. And mess with the dry wet, guys. The size of the room that you're expanding, mess with that too, but I like to really push it to an extreme sometimes. And the more you push that dry wet, you're going to get more of that delay that we've talked about with the definition. I like kind of being 50-50. I like having the size generally 50 to 70% here. That always gives me the best results. And I'll also do this, guys, on maybe let's say this was our verse section of our vocal. Let's say this is our chorus section. Sometimes I might expand the chorus one, this section here, to give more of a width and a dramatic edge to the vocal. You know, vice versa, having it not on over here. Same thing with light reverb here, more reverb here. You can mess with that idea, and it makes a huge, huge difference to the record. See the crazy difference of how that's sitting in the mix. One, it's making the vocal sit a bit more on top. It's making it pop, but it's also making it have a spatial overtaking the record that we want. We want that vocal on top. We want those ad-lib chops, you know, and everything else is kind of mono and dry and centered and clean. This I can kind of get away with pushing reverbs or a dimension expander or a widening tool as we have here. So let's hear that again with a bypass back and forth. Yeah, in my opinion, with them bypassed, it's just a little bit dull in the mix, not coming out in front, not really mixed well. Such a simple tool, guys, that I really recommend to any style producer. Yes, it's a simple looking plugin, but as I said, sometimes simple is best. Give it a try, guys. Again, Xfer Records, that's Dimension Expander paired up with a widening tool. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for watching.